Alright guys, welcome back to the second part of this video. So in the second part of this video we are going to be swapping the screen out for a clean screen. So we're going to get this board prepped up to get the clean screen installed on it. So the first part of this is that there are a couple of capacitors that we just put on here that we don't need when we are actually replacing this with a clean screen. So the capacitors we don't need are C45, which is this capacitor right here. We don't need C47, which is, where are we at here? C47. Well, I know we don't need, oh, that's this guy right here. We don't need C47, we don't need C49, 55, this one, or 54, which is this one. So these are our two 1 UF capacitors that we just put on this board. So I'm going to go ahead and get those taken off. In addition to that, we also don't need this tube here, so I'm going to take that off. I'm going to take the fuses out. So once I get this off, you'll see that there are, I don't know if you can see them right there. You can actually kind of see one on the camera right there. There's a fuse underneath of that. I'm going to take that off. I'm also going to take off this L2 inductor here. So that's going to come off. And then there's a couple components up here around the dial, around this this potentiometer that have to come off. So we're going to take off R32. You can read the components on here, but we're going to take off R32, R33, 34, and we're going to take off Q6, which is this component right here. In addition to that, I'm going to remove the LCD screen, which means that the ribbon is going to need to come off as well. So I will remove that. And if you guys want to watch the process on removing that ribbon, I have another video on that, but I'll try to time-lapse this at least a little bit quickly so that you can get through the video and you don't have to waste your entire day. All right, here we go. All right, so I've got those components off. I'm gonna clean this up a little bit, and then I'm gonna get this ribbon cable taken off. Alright, so the first thing we're going to start with here is we are going to put our clean screen control board onto the back of the main board that we just recapped. And then in addition to that, we have these brackets that actually hold the clean screen to the front of the board. Do not take the screen protector off of the clean screen until the very last moment that you have to. So to do this, there's a little bit of trickery to this, because we need to take one of the original screws that was that basically held the screen on the last time. The screws that you took out of the screen, you're going to use those very same screws, and you're going to use those to attach this bracket, of which this little tab that you see here goes towards the top of the screen. So you're going to use that to attach, to go through the board and into the little screw hole that holds that on. So there's a little bit of trickery to this. I'm going to fast forward and get this done. Alright, at this point, what we're going to try to do is we're going to try to hook up the 5-volt and the ground, just to make sure that our screen is good. So to do that, we're going to use this ribbon that came with the board. Our 5-volt and our ground are on this side or on this left side. So what you'll see is, I'll also do this under the microscope so you can see that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put this into this connector right here, and then attach some of these solder points, just mainly the ground and the 5-volt solder point. And then I'm going to plug in my screen here and make sure that the screen is good before I continue on any further. Alright, so as you can see here, this is where our ribbon will go in. So what we're going to do is we're going to insert that ribbon into this ribbon A connector here. To do that, we're going to make sure that we flip this little tab up on the end. And then we're going to insert the ribbon into the connector. Sorry, should have did that while I was on camera. Then we're going to tap. We're going to snap that connector down. And what you're going to see is that this quick solder ribbon lines up with these components. This component here and this component here. These are the two that I'm really concerned with at first. So I'm just going to do the 5-volt and the ground just to get this going and make sure that the screen is good. So for that, we're going to use our soldering iron here. We're going to use a little bit of flux. So I'm going to come in here. A little bit of flux on that component there. And then once I'm done that, I'm going to stop and check. All right, I don't know why my camera decided to turn off there, but it did. Hopefully it won't do it again. All right, so then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to push down on this component here and just touch my 5-volt point there. And then I'm going to get this lined up. Now what I want to do is I'm going to put my clean screen. I'm going to turn my backlight test on, and I'm going to turn my screen test on. So I'm going to flip that switch there and that switch there. Now what I want to do is I want to plug my clean screen in. So I'm not going to snap this in. Usually would lock this in. I'm not going to. I'm just going to kind of leave it. Oh, this one doesn't fit as tight, so I'm going to go ahead and snap it in then. And then this goes into this little ribbon connector here. You don't see it on the screen there. So here we have our ribbon, and it comes down here into this connector here. So I'm going to make sure that that's tight into that connector. And then lock down our locking tab here. I'm going to hook up the clean juice to the board and see if the screen works. Oh, one of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to turn off the 34-volt rail on the clean juice. You don't have to do this. It's not necessary, but I don't need it anymore, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. So here you can see that connection, or that switch right there, so I'm going to turn that switch off. Don't need it. Oh, noes. That is not what I wanted to see. That is the first time I took that out of the box. Oh my. Alright, that's catastrophe. So I'll leave this in the video. I don't know. I'll have to contact RetroSix. But you can see the screen is broke. You can see it's cracked. Right? Put it on the thing here. You can see it's cracked right there. And that's the first time I took that clean screen out of the box. Unfortunate. I'm going to end the video here and I'll come back. Alright, it's been a couple days and RetroSix sent me a new screen. So I have no complaints about the customer service with RetroSix. So they are fantastic. So I'm going to get this screen in here, the ribbon in, and this screen tested out. Make sure everything that works make sure everything works the way that it's supposed to before continuing on with my installation. So there we go. We got a screen. We got fingerprints all over it already, but that's okay because the screen protector's still on it. Let's go ahead and turn it on. If this is working properly, we should see a white screen with a colored border around it. So get some flicker. We got a white screen with a colored border around it. So that's awesome. This screen works. All right, I'm going to get this back under the microscope now, and we're going to continue this installation. All right, welcome back. So I've got this under the microscope now. And basically what we're going to do now is, since we already have our 5-volt and our ground soldered to this, we also did our start last time. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get these backlight pads attached to these pads here, and then I'm going to get my my 2-button attached to this capacitor right here. So let's do that real quick. Alright, now we got all of this side connected, and then the next piece that we're going to do is we're going to come over here to the other side of this board, and we have quite a few connections, including quite a few small solder points that need to get connected here on this side. So this has to be pushed over a little bit, so don't feel too bad if you got to push this over. And the first one that we have to connect here is the P clock, and then the left button is going to get attached to the bottom of this. Let me get this P clock attached real quick, and then I can do that left button. Get that done real fast. Then this board should actually line up, I think, a bit better than what it is right now. Just used my finger here. Don't want to smell any chicken. No burnt chicken. Won't be the first time though. Go down here and see how these line up as well. So here we can see our SMS on this resistor right here. So that's going to attach to that resistor. Wes, get your hand out of the way. We're going to attach both sides to that resistor, and then we're going to attach T10 to this point right here, and then we're going to come down here and attach each of these data connections to these resistors down here respectively. So these are our really little ones, so be careful with having too much heat, because you will lift these resistors off if you do apply too much heat. So let's get that done. through here. Right there. That bridge. There we go. Can't say I'm too happy with that, but it looks kind of messy, but it works. All right, so let's double check our work here. I should have all the data points attached. The only one that I think I need to attach is I need to attach some wires now. All right, so I am correct here that there is 2 wires that go on this one. So we need to have one that goes to pin 9 and one that goes pin 20. So pin 9 goes to, let's see here, pin 9 goes to H-Sync, and then pin 20 goes to V-Sync on the board here. So I'm going to get that done real quick and hopefully speed this video up. With those wires attached down, we're on the ground to V-Sync and H-Sync. All right, so we got our wires going to V-Sync and H-Sync now. And then I'm going to get this all put back together. I'm going to get the screen on it, and we're going to do another test and make sure that everything works the way it's supposed to. All right, we're back on the regular bench now. So I get the screen in. Connect it back to the connector back here. And we need our clean juice. And if this works the way it's supposed to, I should get a black screen with a colored border. That's exactly what we have. If you did not get a black screen with a colored border and you have a different color like red or magenta or green or blue, reference the RetroSix wiki, because if your screen is a certain color, it means that you're not getting a certain signal back from your game gear. So I'm going to plug this in. I'm going to put a game in. I'm going to take this out of test mode, put a game in it, and see if it works the way that it should. And if it does, I'm going to start reassembling this thing. So to do that, I'm going to take this screen out of screen test. So I'm just going to push that over here. I'm also going to turn the backlight test off because the dial should work now. So let me grab a game and get this thing tested out. All right, so here's my favorite test game, Sonic 2. Everybody has a copy of Sonic 2. Let's get that turned on. And we are not getting what I should see here. So I think this means that one of my wires, either H-sync or V-sync, is not actually attached properly. All right, I'm back again. So really quick fix here. I had my H-sync and my V-sync wires swapped. So pay more attention when you're plugging those in. I guess when I flipped the board over, I got confused as to which ones are which, but there we go. So we're getting our game. My dial here, my potentiometer works for the brightness control, so that's pretty cool. I don't have sound right now, of course, because I don't have an audio board plugged into it, but that's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to start to get this thing back together, and we can see what this thing turns out like. All right, so we're wrapping this up. I'm gonna pop a game in here real quick, make sure that the audio works and everything works the way it's supposed to be, and then I will get this all attached and finish up this video. All right, so this one is all buttoned up and ready to go. All back together. And there we go. That's going to be a wrap for this newest video. Take care, y'all.